Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a second quarter review for you of our homeschool and how everything is going. So if you enjoy that type of content and other homeschool and lifestyle content, please remember to subscribe and let's get into it. Alright, so this is our second quarter review. Our quarters were a little bit weird this year since we're in Africa. We did our first quarter kind of earlier and finished, I don't know, like September sometime. So as everyone's starting school and getting into it, we were finishing up because we were getting ready to come here. And now we've been here almost 9 weeks, so we're just a little bit shy of a full probably quarter for us. But I figured I'd get on here and share with you how things have been going for this last quarter, how schoolwork's been going, and things like that. Okay, so first of all my kids' independent subjects have been going pretty well. It's just been like math and language arts, nothing super crazy. They do a little bit of typing just online a couple times a week. And that's basically it. There's been a little bit of drawing here and there, but math and language arts, they do 4 days a week, and most of them are on track to be done right about the time we finish being here, which is about 4 months away. And some of them might finish a little early, some might have a few lessons left. We'll kind of see how it goes, but so far everybody is doing pretty well. No big difficulties with anything. We use the good and the beautiful for language arts and math, except for my oldest. He does Denison math. He's doing geometry right now, and he's in 8th grade. Yes, he's in 8th grade, and so he's doing geometry and seems to be loving that as well. Every week when I ask him what his favorite thing for homeschool was, when I have to report it to our charter, he's like, math. He just loves doing it, which is great. I'm glad that he loves doing math, but that's always his favorite part of the week. In addition to their independent subjects, we are also doing some group work together, and then there's a few other things that they kind of work on and do either together or an extra assignment I've given them, which I'll explain in a minute. But we're doing the year 1 history from the good and the beautiful. This is the newer version. I saw recently the second year came out with the newer version, and so when we get back, I'll have to get that one as well. Sorry if you can hear my kids screaming. There's not a lot of places to go in our apartment where you cannot hear my kids all the time. So anyways, we are, I think, just over halfway done. So again, we started it before we left. Yes, we're on lesson 37 for today, and there's 60, I think. And so we started it a little bit before we left so that we'd have enough time to finish it by the time we come home in April. So far I've really been enjoying it. It is somewhat similar to the old one. Again, I am not an expert on the old one. We only did the first year, and that was several years ago, so I don't remember it very well. But I like that there's a lot of color. I like the audio recordings because that saves my voice. I've been kind of fighting like a cold or something this week, so when things like that happen, it's nice to have the audio recordings. It's like a good amount of reading and engagement without being overwhelming, which I really appreciate, because some of this stuff can just be so much, and it's really hard to keep my kids interested and all that kind of stuff. So I have really been liking the history curriculum. We've also been doing the U.S. Constitution and Government class from the good and the beautiful, and I have mixed feelings about this. I guess Constitution and Government aren't my favorite to begin with, first of all. So that's probably one of the reasons where I have like a little bit of mixed feelings about it. But the lessons are very long. So this is for grades, I think 4 through 8. I can't remember, I just saw it recently where it is. I think that's what it's kind of grades 4 through 8 is what it's targeted at. And my 8th grader does enjoy learning about the government quite a bit. But some of my other kids, not all, so just my 8-year-old, she is not in 4th grade, but everyone else fits into this age range. And I feel like it's kind of hard sometimes, like the lessons can be really long. There's also a lot of things to discuss. And from someone that doesn't strongly love talking about this kind of stuff or even understand it very well, I never really liked it. It's kind of hard for me. Maybe it would be a better class for my husband to teach them and not me. He'd probably do a better job. But some of this stuff is just heavily discussion and lots of reading. And then there is a storybook, which I think my kids are enjoying, right? It's a story, but also incorporates parts of the Constitution. So it's interesting, but also not at the same time, because it's a little bit too much information in the story instead of more storyline. I do love that you have the book option as well as the audio option. So it gives you the website to go look at, and then you can just click on the chapter you're on the Good and the Beautiful's website, and they'll read it, which I appreciate. But almost every single day, there's either a chapter reading from that or a biography reading, and those are 20 minutes long. And it's just really big. And then the parts in the book are another 20 to 40 minutes long. In addition to that, if you go through all the questions, discuss all the things it's telling you to. So I just feel like it is very, very long. Every time we do it, I'm like, oh my gosh, is this still going? So that's just my personal opinion. I don't know other people's thoughts about it, but I feel like it has good information. And maybe if I was just having my 8th grader do it by himself and go through it all, that would be different. But having to work with some younger kids on it, it hasn't been my favorite, and I feel like they're not as engaged and interested in it. There was a game yesterday, they played a memory game using some constitutional articles of Constitution. I can't remember facts and stuff, so they had to go through and answer the questions, and I feel like they enjoyed that better than some of the things that they have done. But there just hasn't been a whole lot that engages them. It's just more a lot of listening and a lot of reading, and it's just been a little bit harder for me to really enjoy using this curriculum. So I feel like it could have a place, and maybe for a person that likes that kind of stuff more than I do, it would be better. We're still working through it. We're, I think, about halfway done. There's 30 lessons, so it's like half a semester. Not half, it's a semester class instead of a whole year type of a class, unless you just did it like once a week or whatever. So we're doing it twice a week. And so we're gonna keep going through it and see, you'll get my feedback as we keep going through it and see if it seems like it's gotten any better, or if it's just the same kind of thing over and over. And I'll have to ask my kids what their thoughts are when we're all done. So something my kids have been doing together, not every day, but a lot of times during the week, is listening to Percy Jackson on Audible. And they will generally do it after lunchtime for like an hour or so. And they might draw, some of them just listen. The last few days we've been doing some Christmas like painting or drawing type stuff, and so while they're listening, they'll do that. We have a little bit of diamond art, so sometimes they work on the diamond art. So things like that while they're listening, or like I said, some just like to listen. We're on, I think, the 3rd book, and they've really enjoyed doing that. It gives them something else to do during the day that's not just like being completely bored or being on a screen watching a show, but they get to listen, they get to be engaged, they can do something with their hands. And I think that's been something that's very, very helpful for them. And so I've enjoyed having them do that. And then the last thing I wanted to mention that we started doing just 3 weeks ago, I think, was having my kids blog. So this was something my husband's friend that recommended doing a crazy trip for sabbatical, went to Ghana years ago with his 2 kids. And that was something they had their kids do, was start a blog and blog about their experience there. But I was like, how are we gonna do this? Like, do we have them each start their own blog? Because that just seems like a lot. My husband was like, well, since you already are posting stuff on your Substack, how about you just post what their stuff is every week? And so that's what I've been having them do. They each have a day where they'll type up their little thing. So like my oldest son's assigned to Monday, mostly just because computers, right? We only have so many, and even it's a lot of computers anyways, but we only have so many they can use, and a lot of kids that need to use them for a variety of things and stuff. So I needed to plan out what days they were using them. So he does it Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right, with my 4 oldest kids. And they just write something about the last week. Some of them are very short and some of them are a little bit more elaborate. I think as they get more into a groove of doing it, I might have them have a certain word count or a paragraph that has 4 to 5 sentences or something like that. But right now it's just trying to get them used to writing and thinking about, reflecting on the week, stuff that happened, stuff they want to write about. and things like that. So if you want to see those, usually Friday or Saturday of the week is when I post them on my Substack, which is linked below. And they're just funny. A lot of people, that's their favorite part of the week because it's like a different perspective and sometimes a little bit more blunt and things that I might not think about to tell you or write about. And so if you want to see what they're saying, I would go check it out because I laugh when I read through some of their like little paragraphs every week. All right, so that is our second quarter review. School is going pretty well. We're chugging through. It gives us things to do throughout the day too that help us stay focused, help us stay learning. And obviously we've included other little excursions and stuff like that, which I'm going to talk about in an upcoming video because it's 2 months. We've been here 2 months. And so just kind of reviewing the last 2 months and things that we have done, things that have happened, stuff like that. So that will come out sometime after this video, but I'll explain more with like excursions and different things they've been doing that kind of add on to our whole homeschool experience here. So let me know down in the comments how your quarter has been going. Are you about finished with your second quarter? What's your Christmas plans? All that kind of stuff. I'd love to hear. Remember to give this video a thumbs up and I will see you next time.